Yes, welcome back to Fantastic Friday here inside News Talk 93 FM. So congrats to our winners for today so far. We have A and C with two prizes. We have Unbeatable with two as well. It's Gold Gem and one Rudy Most Hated with one each. People who just giving out the prizes each week. Just join us, Fantastic Friday. Prizes galore, fun, excitement, entertainment, and you're about to join our discussion segment right now. So feel free to participate. I want to hear your answers. I want to hear your views. Don't be shy. We're going to be having a conversation here. It's going to be me and you holding a reasoning as we look on today's topic. The topic for this evening is, can long distance relationships work? Can it really work? Let me know your views if you think so. If you know anyone that's been in a long distance relationship and it's still going on strong, let us know. Any experience that you've had with a long distance relationship, please feel free to share it with us. Let me know what's happening out there in the long distance relationship market, whether or not it's, a good vibe, it's working for somebody out there. And if you have any tips on how to make it work, you can drop them as well. All right. So big up to everybody that's got it locked to Fantastic Friday here on News Talk 93 FM from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Let's jump into our discussion as it's Start the Ting with Kim, but right now we are Talk and Gel with Lionel. All right, so looking at the topic this week, can long distance relationships really work? All right. So good evening, people. Good evening, my Fantastic Fridays family. We're coming to you live on News Talk 93 FM with another exciting and thought-provoking discussion. Tonight, we're talking about something that many couples face at some point, and we're talking about long-distance relationships. Whether your partner is in another country, another parish, or just a few cities away or parishes away, the question remains the same. Can long-distance relationships really work? Now, some people say absence makes the hearts grow fonder, while others argue out of sight, out of mind. But which is it? Are long-distance relationships built to last, or are they destined to fail? What do you think, people? Long-distance relationship, are they easier to work with or harder to get through? Now, let's look at how best we can break this down for you. All right? So we'll break it down and explore not only whether they can work, but we're going to look at 5 pros and 5 cons, as well as 7 key ideas or suggestions to make sure your long-distance relationship works. All right? So let's get into it. All right, so let's look into it right now. So we're going to start with 5 pros. These are positive items when it comes to long distance relationships. All right, 5 pros. These are good things, okay? Pro number 1, when you're in a long distance relationship, you'll have stronger communication skills. Right? So when you can't really rely on physical presence, you learn to express yourself better. Conversations become deeper and you truly get to know your partner. I know a lot of persons now in physical relationship, they hardly talk. As they see each other, say kiss up, hug up, all these kind of things. But they haven't really sat down to say, how was your day? What's happening in your life? What's happening in my life? They don't really talk about the things that matter. It's just a relationship of physical touch. That's all. There's no conversation for the most part. All right. And usually they get surprised when something happens. Oh, you never tell me this, because we don't talk. We're just having a physical relationship. So with a long distance relationship, you are forced, I would say you have no other choice but to communicate and do so more often sometimes, or even more effectively. You got to share your day. I mean, we're not going to see each other, so I need to keep in contact with you. So pro number 1, long distance relationships build stronger communication skills. So write that down. Number 1. All right, we got some comments coming in on the live. Jump on in, invite a friend. We're in a discussion. We're asking if long distance relationship, can they really work? Drop your views on the Instagram live as well. All right, so we're gonna go to pro point number 2. These are pros that will, be beneficial to a long distance relationship. All right. So the first one was stronger communication skills. And the second one is built-in independence. You get the best of both worlds. You get a relationship and the space to grow individually. You can focus on your goals, hobbies, and career while still being in love. All right? So that's one of the benefits or pros of a long distance relationship. You're not you have that room to explore your hobbies. Yeah, I'm gonna do cricket at 7, this at 5. You have your freedom in a sense to make your own schedule. You just have to kind of ensure that you put in that communication time frame, that schedule to communicate with your partner. But you get that built-in independence. There's nobody to depend on to say, when we reach home, I can make this, and when I wash the dishes, that she cooks and I do that. You're on your own basically, but you're building a relationship with someone. All right, so it's a pro, it's a plus. Let me jump to the Instagram live. I see some comments jumping in. Kellyanne says, hey, what's up, everyone? I didn't remember today was Friday. Ann Kitchen says, congrats all. Ann Kitchen says, it all boils down to individuals and their views, commitment, and willingness to be respectful and work with what they agree upon. And that is definitely true. Kellyanne says, yes, that's true. I am in one. Trust is a must. All right. So, Kelly, you're in one right now. So you're saying long distance relationship works. Tell me, what is one thing that makes your relationship work? What is the main important thing in a long distance relationship? All right. So we're going to continue our discussion while we get the answer from Kelly, who is currently in a long distance relationship. We're looking at 5 pros. Pro number 1, you get stronger communication skills because you have to communicate more often now. It's not just hug up and physical touch. 2, there's built-in independence where you're not relying on somebody to fold your clothes, cook for you, prepare the meal, help you get to this or whatever it is. But you're more independent in the fact that you are doing things on your own timing. You're studying, you're researching, you're relaxing, but yet still you still have that communication line open for your relationship. Number 3, you get more appreciation for time together. That's when you're in a long distance relationship. If you ever get a chance to meet up, oh my gosh, you're able to meet up for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, oh my, you will treasure that because you haven't seen the person in such a long time sometimes, or they're so far away. Any little plans that you guys make together usually is a treasured moment because it's been a long time. You know, when you're waiting for something so long and you finally see somebody that you've been wanting to see, that is amazing, and you are able to appreciate that more often from a long distance relationship. Some people, they're together and it's not a long distance relationship. They're tired to see them one another. They might tell each other, say, go and do something else. But in a long distance relationship, the moment you get to see your partner in person, you're happy. You are happy. All right, let's hop over to the Instagram live. The WhatsApp line is also open, people. You can drop your comments there. If you listen via radio, you want to chime in with your comments, it's 876-792-3530. All right, that's 876-792-3530. All right, on the Instagram live, comments dropping in. Kelly says, trust and honesty. Those are the very important things. And I agree. Anybody else that agrees? Any other options? Ann Kitchen says, spicy when we meet up. Yeah, this place. Yeah, man. So, there you go. It's going to be very crucial when you get that time to spend with each other from a long distance relationship. Now, another benefit that will come from a long distance relationship is a solid foundation of trust. Long distance relationships force you to build trust. You have to trust each other in a long distance relationship. There is no way you're gonna be in St. Thomas and your partner is in the grill and you try to call up every 5 minutes. Hey, where you do now? Hey, where you do now? Where you at? Moasi. You have to build some sort of trust, or else the relationship is gonna go downhill very quickly. So it's a must. There's no way you cannot see a partner for 2, 3, 4 days, a week, 2 weeks, a month without trusting them. If you give up on the trust, it's gonna show and the relationship is gonna go down. So trust is a must when you're talking about long distance relationship. If you're not a trusting person, or if you feel that your partner is not somebody you can trust, then that long distance relationship is going to fail. Trust me. Well, there you go again, trust. All right, so pro number 5. This is when it comes to long distance relationships. They do have benefits, you know. They do have things that you are able to, you know, excel from or learn from. When it's a long distance relationship, let's see here. Chef says loyalty is definitely key, and I agree. That falls into a bit of trust and honesty. You have to be loyal. So while you are trusting your partner to be loyal, you yourself have to be loyal. You can't be out here running around with new guys, new this, new girls, and you're here talking about my partner, I trust them. But you are not trustworthy. All right. Kellyanne says, I cannot wait for him to come home. You're going to burn up. Oh my gosh. It's very much true. All right. See, Kelly can hardly wait. She's going to burst with emotions. And that is what happened from a long distance relationship, that intense waiting to see somebody. All right. Now, pro number 5, long distance relationships are what they call a test of true love. You have to really, really, really love the person to hold on through a long distance relationship. As I said, if you can't trust them, downhill. If there's no loyalty or honesty, downhill. You can hide and be a trickster all your life, but in a long distance relationship, there will be signs. And it's gonna go downhill unless you truly love the person and you're truly honest and loyal. Yeah, that's how it will work. So those are the 5 pros of a long distance relationship that we highlighted. There are more, but these are the key items that we focus on. Stronger communication skills, a built-in independence from being on your own in a relationship. 3, more appreciation for your time spent together. 4, a solid foundation of trust. And 5, a test of true love. These are 5 pros of a long distance relationship. I'm going to jump into the cons right now. Before I do so, let me take a quick look over on Instagram. I do see some comments coming in. I want to big up everybody that's got it locked into Funtastic Friday here on News Talk 93 FM. Those of you who want to join the discussion, please feel free to do so. We're talking about, can long distance relationships really work? Do they make sense? And we have on the line, on the WhatsApp line, someone who is currently in a long distance relationship. So we're getting first-hand experience here inside Talk the Ting with Kim, Talk and Gel with Lionel. All right, let's see here. Kellyanne says, for me, every day and every night, I like that he's at work. I'm with him at his work. Sometimes he sleeps and I listen to him sleep. I love him dearly. The best relationship I ever have. All right. Yes. Chef says real and true love. That's true. Kellyanne says I have no problem. He has no problem. But that is key. You have to be on the same page in a long distance relationship for it to work. All right. So let's look at the pros. Well, let's look at the cons. We just looked at the pros of a long distance relationship. Let's look at the cons, the disadvantages, the negatives that may come from a long distance relationship. Let's take a look. All right, so one of the points that we begin with is A lack of physical intimacy. Now, these people, yeah, it's rough. So let's be real. Sometimes you just want a hug or to hold hands or a big kiss. Yeah, gotta be honest. You're in a relationship, you're like, oh my gosh, when we can get a big hug from my partner, I would want somebody, my partner's hand around me right now. That is a very big deal. All right? The absence of physical touch can be tough. So if you're not sure if you can manage the battle, please communicate this to your partner. But I say, oh my gosh, yeah man, easy thing. It is not as easy as it looks. All right? A lot of persons, they desire that physical touch. Sometimes it is a part of their love language. So you have to even schedule time. If it's a long distance relationship, you got to schedule the time to ensure that you are meeting your partner's desires or their requirements. But a disadvantage of a long distance relationship, lack of physical intimacy. So you can't get to hug and kiss and hold hands as often as you'd like to. Number two, the second disadvantage of a long distance relationship. Sometimes, depending on how you are, there's going to be different time zones or different schedules. So when one person is waking up, the other might be going to bed. One might be at work, the other one is at school. One might be free, but the other one has to finish assignments. It sometimes is not as smooth as we would like it to be. So, coordinating calls and quality time can be a challenge, and that's another disadvantage or setback that persons might face when they're in a long distance relationship. All right, we have some more comments coming in. Gonna try and drop them in right here as we look at the disadvantages or the cons of a long distance relationship. All right. So we have Adequate says, not every time a call will be answered, especially if time difference is a factor, and work as well ad hoc. That is, do not be quick to anger or cloak up emotions or communication. And that is true. That's what I'm talking about. There's going to be a difference in schedules. You're up, they're down, you're sleeping, they're awake. You're, getting breakfast, they're having dinner, or, the schedules might not be matching. So you have to be reasonable and trustworthy and trusting as well. An individual has to have very high level of tolerance, says Anki Chin, and understanding in another country of residence, especially. So if they're in another country, oh my gosh, it's a lot more trickier, especially with the time zones. Kellyanne says, hi Chevelle, hi Kelly. Anki Chin says, oh, you need a shoulder to cry on, something, some sort of support system. It's rough when you don't have that there. And Kellyanne says that is true. It's a battlefield in a long distance relationship. So these are some of the disadvantages that we may face when we venture into a long distance relationship. So we look at lack of physical intimacy, difference in time zones or schedules. Now the big thing that hits a lot of us is trust issues and jealousy. The questions that they ask, who are you with? Why didn't you reply at certain time? These questions can creep in if the trust isn't rock solid. And I tell you people, one of the biggest things, these questions even affect persons who are not in a long distance relationship, but are probably next door or a couple streets away or about 10 minutes away. So imagine if you know that your partner is a 1,000 miles away or hundreds of miles away, or if they are 7 hours drive or 4-hour drive. Those questions are much more I would say crucial. Who are you with? You're going to prom. Who you taking with you? You're going for lunch where? I saw you at a fancy restaurant. What's happening? All these things can be going through your mind. So one of the biggest disadvantage of a long distance relationship is that there's a bit more when it comes to trust issues and jealousy. They see the person post a picture of them going to class with somebody beside them. Oh geez, who is this? You find new somebody? All these things come into play. All right. Now, another disadvantage of long distance relationship may be expensive visits. So whether it's flights, bus fare, hotel stays, uh, maintaining a long distance relationship can get costly. So I know a lot of people, if you're in Kingston and around Kingston, you have a boo, a spugay. You can easily jump on a bus, a taxi. The fare can be like, $200, $300, probably up to five, six, 700, right? Maybe you have a boo in Portmore, so you have to consider toll and all these things. When you have a boo that's at the other end of the island, it's a minimum of, let's say, almost $2,000 to probably get there, much less to come back. And I said minimum because these costs are the lowest, probably like gas or something like that. If you're driving and it's gas money, it's probably up to $5,000 to get to Negril and back, So those trips can be costly, and persons might not want to make them if they're thinking about saving. You're like, all right, you come. And they're like, no, but I came to you last time. Listen me. Long distance relationship can be plagued with that expensive visit costing, especially if they're overseas. Oh my, so them have a planned flight, 300 US a flight one way. Oh my gosh, it can be heavy. So while persons might get visits, they start off getting a visit 2 times for the year. That might calm down to 1 time because they say, listen, we have to save up so we can come Christmas and we can buy you this and buy you that. So an issue that they face in long distance relationship is expensive visits. And the final thing that affects a long distance relationship, or as we call it, a disadvantage of a long distance relationship, is loneliness and emotional distance. Kind of ties in with the lack of physical intimacy, but it's a big deal. When we talk about loneliness and emotional distance, some days the distance feel unbearable, especially during like birthdays, anniversaries, or tough times when you just need a partner or a shoulder to cry on, or somebody to just comfort you, or somebody to just look on, like just face to face. You never have to touch them, but to know that they're in the same room is a whole different ball game than when they're on the phone. You're doing a video call. I can assure you of this. So those are the 5 disadvantages that plague long distance relationships. As they call it, 5 cons: lack of physical intimacy, different time zones or schedules. Number 3, trust issues and jealousy. Number 4, expensive visits. And number 5, loneliness and emotional distance. So these things, we have 5 pros, we have 5 cons. So there's a balance to it somewhat. It does have its benefits, but it does have some disadvantages as well. So the decision for you and your partner is to talk it out. If you've not yet started the long distance relationship, talk about it, think about it before you get into it, because it's not an easy road, as Butcher says. But there are some pleasures or some advantages. Probably you're able to finish school in the other country, come back with experiences to teach your partner, all these things. It does have pro and con. Kellyanne says he's just 1 hour ahead of me. Good morning. Even if I'm going on the road, I tell him when I come back. He never leaves the home without telling me. Even though you're far, always far away. So see, even when you're away, you have to keep in communication. Kelly says, I have no one texting or calling, so I'm good. You don't have nobody else. That is key, because once you start to open or entertain other relationships in the physical, when you start get close to a bestie, and say your boo is overseas, trouble there. And Christian says, talk about airfare. It's costly too, and that's what we did mention that. That does, bring into some, cost concerns. Chev says yes. Kellyanne says no loneliness for me. I'm not normal. As I said, it's not for everybody. If you're able to stand up to the test, then you can go ahead and venture it. If you know that you are not able to operate without having that physical contact, that person around you on a weekly, daily basis, then the long distance relationship might be a rough toll for you. All right, so those are our 5 pros, 5 cons, or 5 benefits, 5 disadvantages of a long distance relationship. We're gonna look into whether or not it can really work when we return after the break. And we also have some tips for you in making your long distance relationship last. All right, so don't go anywhere. Keep dropping the comments on Instagram Live at Funtastic93FM. You can also drop your comments on WhatsApp at 876-792-3530. We'll be right back after the break.